What is up, my friends? You are very welcome along to our match reaction after Liverpool have beaten West Ham United by 5-2. It wasn't pretty at times, at other points it was, but ultimately we got our job done. 3 goals added to the goal difference column as well. We'll talk you through our thoughts on the game. Of course, we want to know yours. I think I missed a super chat right at the end of the stream from Gary, who said, a win all day, but I'm sorry, Mo should not be starting. I mean, look, we'll get stuck into it in the comments, but there was good and bad things in that game today. You know, from an attacking perspective, we certainly showed we had a lot to offer. Like the little cameo from Rio off the bench, like Trey coming on as well. Great to see Jeremy Frimpong back on the right-hand side. I do think he's going to give us another dimension to our attack and our defence as we move forward. But yeah, still some frailties in there. But look, I'm going to be honest about it. I wanted us to start the game quickly, and we did. Burnley getting a late leveller there as well against Brentford to make it 4-all. I kid you not, 4-all in that one. But look, it's over to you guys now. Let us know how you're feeling about the game. I'll run through some of the stats. Of course, your man of the match poll is open there to vote as well. The options that you guys have today: Jeremy Frimpong, Alexis McAllister, Hugo Ekitike, or Virgil van Dijk. I'd love to know how Frimpong snuck his way into the man of the match poll after a 15-minute cameo, but you can argue about Connor that one. So for me, ladies and gentlemen, I would probably go Hugo Ekitike for my man of the match vote, with Alexis McAllister second if I was being a greedy guts and voting. But it is a democratic process, so vote away on it and we'll announce the winner at the end. Let's run through some of the quick numbers from the game. Possession-wise, believe it or not, we actually had a little bit less possession than West Ham. Liverpool 49% to West Ham's 51%. Shots 18 in the game from the Reds, 7 on target, 11 for West Ham, 4 on target. Dangerous attacks 43 for us, 50 for them. Corners 10 for Liverpool, 5 for West Ham. 398 passes from the Reds with an 82% passing accuracy success rate. 418 passes for West Ham with 77%. Look, if you look at those numbers, it shows it was a matched, balanced game in some ways. You know, Liverpool took our chances and created probably, well, I would say an equal amount if you look at it. West Ham had 50 dangerous attacks. They had 11 shots. So I'm delighted with the win, but I'm not going to kid myself into thinking that everything is better. It's a good win, but we also showed some frailty in those transitional moments, in, again, being a little bit soft. And some of the goals that we've conceded, I think, are things that we can do a little bit better. It's hard to really be critical after a 5-2 win, but there were good and bad things to take from that. I do think Frimpong's going to make a big difference to us as we go on. You could see the impact he did have when he came on, pinning them back straight away, always a good outlet on the right, and good at attacking the spaces and genuinely getting something from those moments of possession that he has. One of the crosses in, of course, was ricocheted into the goal from Disasi to make it 5-2 and give us that bit of breathing room. Other than that, I have to say I thought Cody did okay today. Hand on heart, there are questions to be asked about our 2 wide players. There is. Whether it's Mohamed Salah or Cody Gakpo, there are questions to be asked. A lot of people during the watch along, and I'd be interested to know if you agree with this in the comments, a lot of people were saying that Salah was a passenger in the game. I think he did some decent work for us defensively, Mo, but as an attacking person, he's not at the same level he was. You can see it. I'm not trying to be a hater or anything. I tried to credit him for the defensive work, but in those moments, he's not the same player he was. He just doesn't have, I don't think, the fear factor as much as he did in years gone past either. Sounds like it was a good game. I had to miss the entire game. Was it worth watching? It was an interesting one. We started it really well, and there were definitely good points in the game, but we're still a work in progress. I think that's fair to say. We got away with it today against West Ham at home, but we gave up too many chances. And on other days, maybe this goes a little bit differently. Maybe the score is a little bit closer. So yeah, good and bad. Rio, Trey and Joe trying to score. Goalkeeper, I think no. I don't know what that means. The goalkeeper, I think no. VAR going to disallow the goal for Burnley. Oh no, are they? Oh, please say they don't. It was disallowed. Oh, boo. So Brentford win that one 4-3. Sorry about that. Right, ladies and gentlemen, do get your votes in for the man of the match, as I said, and keep your comments coming in. Yeah, I feel for Burnley on that one. I mean, what a day that was. What a game that was. I mean, 2 7-goal games in the Prem today. Our 5-2 victory over West Ham and 4-3 there over Burnley. And I haven't seen the Burnley goal to know whether it should have been ruled out or not. Let's give you some stats from the game. Liverpool have now won 6 of their last 7 games in all competition, which is good news. So how do you guys feel about that today? It's a weird one, right? Because scoring 5 goals at home, you'll take it every day of the week. But there are still things that we can be doing better. Jamie Carrigan and others have talked a lot about us in transition and those games being open and stretched. I'd be interested to kind of elaborate on a super chat that Stevie Boy sent in, asking how we think the midfield got on today. I thought Macca was good, but I'd like to put it to you guys. How do you think the midfield got on today? Do you still think we're too easy to play through there? Or why do you think West Ham were able to get as much joy as they did in that game today? It's a weird one. It was such an open game. Jamie said Rio starts over Gakpo. Frimpong starts on the right, in my opinion. I think you could make an argument for Frimpong to play over Salah on the right at the moment. I really do. If Gomez is fit and available, yeah. I'd be interested to know what the chat think on it, but I would think it's fair to say Jeremy did more in an attacking sense there when he came on the pitch than we've seen in the rest of the game from Mo. So it might not be the maddest shout. Dinesh said 4-4. It was 4-3. It was ruled out, I think, Dinesh, mate, the Burnley goal. I think it's still 4-3. So, Hugo Ekitike for Liverpool this season, the first French player to score 11 goals in his first Premier League season since Lacazette back in 17-18. The first player to score 11 Premier League goals in his first full season at Liverpool since Luis Suarez in 11-12. So, a good day at the office for Mr. Hugo Ekitike. Syndicate Carl said Gravenberch has been rubbish. He's the reason behind those 2 goals. Dom outbattled all game. Poor from him today. 100% want Frimpong on the right to Cop NTV. Much more attacking threat with Frimpong and Gomez than Mo, said Alpha Red 156. At this point, Joe got to get a goal against Wolves both games, said Jaden. I swear to God, mate, I thought he was going to get that goal today when he swiveled in the 18-yard box. I just had visions of a shot, a little deflection even, and it just gone past the goalkeeper. But unfortunately, it wasn't to be. He cannot finish his Liverpool career without getting a goal. Esther, how are we, Esther? Said, I love that we've won, but it was West Ham, not Chelsea. I would expect that we win. Slot could do with using some of the youth in midfield, put a fire up the rears of Gravenberch and McAllister. Well, Macca, I thought, played well today. I agree with some of the shouts from Macca as man of the match. I do think he put in a good shift today, and he was back to his old tenacious self, winning plenty of possession as well. Gravenberch's been low-key getting away with a lot this season because of his exploits last year, and I do think any critiquing now is deserved. Because imagine we had an Anderson back there today, or somebody mopping up some of those counter-attacks or some of those transitions. Certainly is that factor we are missing. There's no denying that. Again, I think Rio coming on gives the manager something to think about. A couple of good moments. Unlucky not to get himself a goal as well. Slalomed his way into the penalty area. Goalkeeper made a decent save. Frimpong on the right-hand side, and I'm going to repeat it, did more in the 15 minutes or 20 minutes he was on the pitch than Salah did for the entire 90. So again, that's another decision for the manager to make. Yeah, good and bad in this game, but it's weird to talk about not being attackingly happy with a 5-2 performance, right? That feels a little bit weird as a fan to come on and say we can do more in attack when we've scored 5 goals, but of course a lot of them came from set pieces, which are very welcome, but there are times where I feel like we're wasteful when we're counter-attacking, and Salah is, unfortunately for me, at the heart of a lot of that wastefulness. Some moments as well, like Salah got the ball at one point and cut across the 18-yard box, and it's been a kind of tale of his recently where he's leaning back and he's not even forcing keepers into saves when he does get into shooting positions, which on his left foot, cutting back across the 18-yard box, you would say was his bread and butter. Maka was one of the best players today. He had so many blocks and tackles, said Foxy Fox 3244. Why doesn't he take Salah off? He's been so poor, he can't beat a man anymore, said the chapster. I guess the question probably could have been, could you have left Gomez on and taken Salah off and put Frimpong on there? I think you probably could have, but I guess I'm wondering, was the thought process from the manager to protect Joe Gomez? You know, rather than taking Salah off, just making sure that we don't face a situation again where we're running out of defensive cover. So I think I can understand the substitution from that perspective, but moving forward, I do think it's a conversation now that Frimpong has to be considered on that right side, because Mo just ain't cutting the mustard. And I hate saying it, but he isn't. Where are you at the minute with Arna? I really don't know where I stand. I'm not moving. I'm honestly, I want him gone. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I just do. I want him gone. I think we're still underperforming to what we have. And there were good points today. There was. But again, if you want to be really picky about it, we were too easy to be gotten at a lot of the time. And we let West Ham back into a game that they shouldn't have been let back into. Connor said, I think Salah plays every minute recently simply because he can play every minute. Probably the fittest, most bulletproof player in the squad. I honestly think Gakpo hate has been blown out of proportion. He hasn't been that bad. He's become a scapegoat. Mate, I've said this for a long time. I think what Cody Gakpo is suffering from most is the fact that Luis Diaz isn't at the club and that we don't have that other option on the left, or we haven't had that other option for most of the season. So what we've been left with is a situation where Cody Gakpo in the past, when it wasn't working for him, maybe would have been substituting Diaz in or vice versa. But because we haven't had that player to change, I think a lot of the grief is coming Cody's way. Now, the manager has to step in now and make the decision to start giving Rio more opportunities there, because there will be occasions where Cody's the right decision, the right choice to play. But I am totally in agreement with you. I think he's been okay this season, but not as bad as some people make out. But that's my reasoning for it. I think that we're just missing Diaz and that dynamism or that option of it until he brings Rio on. So now maybe moving forward, we can get that better balance. If Cody isn't pulling up any threes, then maybe the manager will turn to start Rio. I'm more concerned as well about Ekitike. You know, I don't remember him finishing many 90 minutes. And I know he's saying he's still getting used to the physicality of the Premier League, but like, he's in now long enough that you would hope that he's at the levels that you don't need to take him off. You could say he's protecting him because Isak isn't back. And again, I understand that, but he comes off almost every game, which is kind of unusual for a number 9. Just please, Liverpool winning more games now. Confident we'll finish top 5. Oh, I think I'm really confident that we finish in the top 5. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Have a feeling we're going to sign Somerville. I don't. I think Liverpool ran the rule over Crescencio Somerville when he was at Leeds and chose not to. Now, if West Ham get relegated, perhaps they look at it as a viable, cheapish option. I don't know. It will be interesting to see, though, if West Ham or Forest go down, who's cherry picked from them to stay in the Premier League, basically, with other clubs. Did you used to watch Duncan Oldham Talk TV? Did I used to watch it? I didn't say I would watch it. I know who Duncan is, and I've interacted with Duncan a few times. Excuse me. But I wouldn't say I used to watch it because I don't really get a chance to watch much content. But I certainly know of Duncan. It's not cut the mustard, it's cut the muster. Oh, Jen, you learned something new. I did not know that, but that makes more sense. Thank you. Cut the mustard. Well, I'm still going to say cut the mustard though, because it's ingrained in my brain now. But genuinely, thank you for clearing that one up. So, what is muster? Can you explain that one to me then? You're right. I know you're right, because cutting the mustard doesn't really make any sense. But yeah, what is mustard? Salah so frustrating on the ball, says Elliot Hamlin. Don't forget to vote for your man of the match, folks, if you haven't done so already. Your options: Frimpong, Maka, Hugo, and Virgil. Trev said, definitely think Hugo was being protected from injury. Imagine playing with Cody through the middle. Yeah, I get that. I do understand that perspective, but I don't know. It's just weird seeing your centre forward taken off all the time. But I do get where you're coming from, especially with no Isak back yet. The manager doesn't want to have no centre forward. Oshin says, it is indeed cut the mustard. Mustard is used to pass the mustard. See, there you go. See, yeah. I'm learning that I didn't learn something new today. There you go. So it is cut the mustard. There you go. See, it's cut the mustard. Not passing muster is the other one. It means to pass inspection. Now I get it. Cool. You've educated me. Thank you. Appreciate you. Oswald said, why don't we play Salah left wing, Gakpo right wing? Because football is obsessed with inverted wingers. I don't get it. And I'm old school. I think a left foot or left wing, right foot or right wing. But yeah, there you go. Had the opportunity to talk with my dad around the 85th minute. Did we look like chickens with heads cut off, closing out the game? No, it just got messy. That's what I would say. It just got messy towards the end of the game and sloppy. So happy to see Nioni and Rio getting minutes, said Mulder. Yeah, you had the feel for Trey Nioni as well. So close to getting himself a goal today, and it would have been another good ball in. So, cut the mustard means come up to expectations to reach the required standard. Where does the phrase cut the mustard originate? As it seems that the phrase is the early 20th century of United States origin, the first recorded use of the phrase was by O. Henry in 1907. In a story called The Heart of the West, I looked around and found a proposition that exactly cut the mustard. So there you go. The correct common idiom is cut the mustard, meaning to meet expectations, succeed or be good enough, while often confused with the military term pass muster to pass inspection. So there you go. We've all learned a little something here today. And thank you, Crosby, for sending that one on as well. Thank you, Six Love. Appreciate you. Salah should be another striker. He doesn't have the legs for the right wing anymore. But if it was a striker, I'm sure he'd remember how to get goals. I just think we're at the point now where Salah shouldn't be a guaranteed starter anymore. And I don't take any pleasure in saying that, but that's where I'm at with the situation. You know, when we get everybody back, when we've got Isak back, when maybe Rio gets some more minutes, I'm going to be intrigued to see how this goes for Salah or in the summer, because the impact just hasn't been the same. It just hasn't. And I think if we keep trying to believe he's going to turn the corner again, we're going to be disappointed. It's just, it's showing that, you know, Father Time is catching up with him. And that's okay. He's human, like the rest of us. A good but nervy 5-2 win. Still not good for my heart. Well done. You'll never walk alone, said Tim. Thank you, Tim. Hugo, Isak and Rio is our front line now, said Cheyenne. I'd love for Rio to get a start, and I thought maybe we were going to get it today. You know, we've got 2 games coming up against West Ham, one in the Cup, one in the League, and I wonder, or excuse me, against Wolves, my apologies. One in the FA Cup, one in the League, and I wonder, will you give Rio the start in one of them? Pretty sure Frimpong was rarely injured for Leverkusen. There was this thing the other day to say he was never injured, that he didn't miss a game at Leverkusen. Now, I don't know how true that is, but certainly been unfortunate since he's come in. What has he had, 3 or 4 breaks now with injuries? Jason Best said Salah gets pushed off the ball too much now. I think he just slows down our attacks too much. So many times you'll see us on the break, the ball will be played out to the right side, and then he'll jockey, cut back inside, slow it down, and then play the ball off the legs of the defender. It's just, it's just not the same. Right, so Here's his injury record. In 21-22, he missed 9 games in 53 days with syndesmotic ligament tear. He had an unknown injury in 23-24 where he missed 2 games. So he missed 11 games in total from 2021 all the way up till he joined Liverpool in 2025. So a handful of games. So yeah, certainly we've been unlucky. He's had 1, 2, 3, 4 hamstring injuries this season for Liverpool. Wendy said, every chance you get, you're on Salah's back. Wendy, my dear, my friend, my pal, my buddy, have you not been reading the chat, Wendy? Like, I know you want to say I've a hate for Salah, which couldn't be further from the truth. But am I wrong, chat? I dare to say, Wendy, if we ask the chat, are they happy with Salah, they'd all say no. So could it perhaps be, Wendy, that maybe I'm right? And perhaps, I understand you want to protect the player. I've no problem with that. You're supporting our boy. But this idea that I somehow have a desire to unfairly criticise Mo, I think is unfair on me. I think I've been more than fair. And Mo hasn't been good enough. And you can see the comments yourself, Wendy. You don't even have to take my word for it. See how your fellow fans are feeling about him. And truly, I'm not going to go in on Wendy. I understand anybody trying to be supportive of our players. No problem. But, let's be honest about it. He's not at the level he should be. Not wrong at all, said the Grim Reaper. No, said Ashley. Salah has only himself to blame for wanting the ball too much and losing it. Obviously, our coaching staff causing Frimpong injuries. Make a poll on Salah and see how people feel. Yeah, no problem. So, your man of the match, I think it's a clear winner, so we can end it. Hugo, Connor, can you get a poll ready on Salah? Are you happy with Salah this season, yes or no? So, Hugo Ekitike with 56% of the vote is your Anfield Agenda man of the match, and thank you to everyone that took the time to vote in that one. Second place was Alexis McAllister. Third place, Virgil van Dijk and Jeremy Frimpong. In fourth place with 10%. So, a couple of quotes now for you. Cody Gakpo said, we worked very hard. Even in the first half, we scored from 2 set pieces or maybe 3. The score was 5-2, but the game was much closer than the end result. They are a good side. They're not really, Cody. There's a reason they're in the relegation zone. So, are you happy with Salah's performances this season? Is the poll in the chat. Now, let's see how this one goes, Wendy. So, Wendy, here's the thing about me, right? I'm open to being critiqued on anything. I don't have any problem with anybody calling me out on something. But this nonsense about me going in on Mo constantly, it's embarrassing, quite frankly. And I'm getting fed up of it. I'm getting fed up of being accused of X, Y, and Z because I say the truth. I'm not going to blow smoke up anyone's arse. If Mo deserves praise, I'll give it to him. As I did in that game, saying defensively he was good. But this bullshit about me having an agenda against anyone needs to stop because it's nonsense. I'm not going to say somebody's doing well when they're not. We know what he's capable of. We know the legend that he is, and we know the standards that he set over the years. And those standards quite now are not being met at 400 grand a week. 400 grand a week. Like, think about it. The highest player in the history of the club. 400 G's a week. And you think I'm going to sit here and not criticise him when he doesn't play well? Same as anybody else. I know it's tough to criticise Salah because of how much he's done for the club, but you have to be honest about his performances this season. I always try to be honest. I don't have a fixed agenda against anybody. The closest I'm coming is with the manager, to be honest with you, to what I would class as an agenda. Because I really, really, really don't want him to still be in charge. And even results changing, I'm sorry to say, isn't really moving the needle for me. I can't take to him. It's just not somebody I'm connecting with. Cody Gakpo said, we're coming to the end of the season and we're still in the Champions League and the FA Cup. There's a lot to play for. Hopefully we can keep the momentum we have and end the season in a good way. Absolutely, Cody. Hopefully we can. Jaden said, get Zidane or 7 to teach Hugo the art of heading. Yeah, he could definitely work on the old heading. I'll give you that one. Gary said Mo's attitude and performances started dipping after last year's contract fiasco. I think we sell Gakpo for 60 million, and if we sell Salah to Saudi, we might get 60 or 70 on that too. I think 30 to 50 million is the numbers that have been mentioned for a potential Salah sale if it happens. And again, I have no idea what happens. Cody Gakpo will be an interesting one in the summer to see if Bayern Munich do follow up their interest. There's been talk of a 65 million pound fee there, and Liverpool investing that in Jan Diamonde from RB Leipzig. Again, I don't really have the information on that to say how it goes, but it's going to be an interesting summer, definitely. I lost my job. Keep my chin up. Sell it on 400k a week and cries when he subbed. Still a legend though. Look, I just call it as I see it. And today, I don't think Salah was great. I don't think Gravenberch was great. Yeah, sorry. It just is what it is. So you can see what way the poll's going. So I hope Wendy has something about her enough to come back in and, maybe say that I don't have an agenda and that's just the way it is, Wendy. Ori Hugo heading. Maybe he needs to practice more as the cornrows may have changed the angle a bit. Hairstyle can have an effect on which sounds a bit daft but true. Well, I'm not going to be telling anybody about what way to do their hair, to head the ball or not. Get Somerville in. I feel like that's a little bit of match of the day fever though, Dean. Because I promise you, if we had assigned Somerville last summer, people would have lost their minds. I remember we were linked with him and it was a conversational point, and fair to say Liverpool fans weren't really on board with that one. But he has come good this season at West Ham, and if they go down, it'll be interesting to see if anybody does make a move for him. Right, Alexis McAllister said, yes, we could have scored more. They had some chances as well. I prefer to be positive and see the fact that we scored 5 goals, which is really good. Also, from Maka, on West Ham not being able to reduce the gap to 1 goal, said that was because in the attacking phase we were really good. We know we need to improve on a couple of things, especially defensively, because the gaps are too big for us. And he's not wrong. We do need to start shutting out games a bit easier and closing it down a bit better. Now look, I'm all for going and putting the foot on the pedal, and I did urge us to do that today, but you can do that in a way that still leaves you enough cover. Today, I think, was another example of why we need a proper DM. Claire said, I think the way Slot is treating the young players is disgusting. Why can't he build them up, not put them down? Even, Claire, the comments about players who've been unavailable from this season, I just thought was completely uncalled for. Saying Isak's been no good to him. Frimpong's been only available for 5 or 6 moments. Leone's been out the whole season. Yeah, I just don't know what message that's sending. And he just, Arna always feels like it's more about covering his own arse than anything else. He gives me kind of Brendan Rodgers vibes in that he's happy to throw players under the bus to try and justify his own existence. Some more comments. What's this one on? This one here, again from Maka, on the team gaining some momentum. He said, now that we spend some time together, things are easier for us. We understand each other. The last 4 or 5 months is when teams show what they can do. That's what we want. We know how important it is to qualify for the Champions League for the club and us as a team. The goal is there, and we hope to do everything to qualify and be closer to the teams at the top. Honestly, I think 3rd place should be an achievable aim for us for the rest of the season. So, the XG philosophy. Let's have a look at this. So, XG in the game. Liverpool XG 1.92. West Ham XG 2.09. That's mad, isn't it? Considering we won the game 5-2. So, Liverpool had an XG 1.92. West Ham an XG at 2.09. So, we lost the XG race, but won the game 5-2. So West Ham perfectly performed their XG and we overperformed theirs by 3 goals. Kudus is a great shout if Spurs go down. I just don't think Kudus is good enough. I don't think he's anywhere near as consistent enough. Van de Ven I'd take in a heartbeat though. Aston Villa seems to be dropping. If United beat Palace, they'll be third. Yep, and we'll be right there in striking distance as well. So I do think United beat Palace. I also think Chelsea drop points. So I think we're going to be ending the weekend, in my opinion, in those Champions League spots. But I also think there's an opportunity for us now to push out a bit of a gap on Chelsea. Honestly, if I'm Arne in that dressing room saying it to the lads, I'm saying we push them for third spot now. That's got to be the aim. Try to close in Aston Villa, overtake United, and get into third spot in the league. That would be an acceptable finish to the season based off the poor start or the poor middle, I should say, that we had. Jet Bain said, do a poll on Gakpo, who you seem to defend on this channel is a lot worse than Salah. How about go fuck yourself, you petulant little cunt? How about that? I'm fed up of people like you arsehole. I don't even know who you are. And you're in the chat trying to dictate to me about, I have an agenda against nobody, you fucking plank. The only agenda I have against is poor performances. I was asked to do a poll on Salah, you little gimp. So I'm doing a poll on Salah. I've earned my fucking respect and you'll show it to me or you'll disappear. Simple as. I am doing a poll based on what the chat asked for. And if the chat asks for a poll on Salah, I'll do a poll on Salah. You don't need a poll on Gakpo. You know Gakpo's come in for a lot of abuse this season. You know that. And how dare I try to defend a player by saying the reason I genuinely think he's dropped off. And it's not hard. We don't have Diaz there as another option. So Gakpo's not doing too much different than he did last year, but Diaz isn't there. I've made that pretty fucking clear. But if you actually listened and tried not to be a smart arse, leave the clever stuff to me. You just sit there like a good little fella and watch the adults carry on with the content. You just sit there and shut the fuck up. Fuck me. Always one. How about you just start your own channel if you think it's so fucking easy? And just you have a crack at a fella. How dare you defend Cody Gakpo? I am a part of the Cody Gakpo hate brigade. And by the way, just for what it's worth, it was 90% who were unhappy with Mohamed Salah this season. So Wendy, I think you'll agree I'm not in the minority on that one. Honestly, and I'll say this and I'll defend this to the death, I don't think Cody Gakpo's done anything different from last season. I don't. I've said it all year. I think the problem Cody Gakpo's had is that the other option isn't there for us. And when we aren't able to break through the way we do with Cody, and when he's having a game where he's just not productive, there isn't the option, or there hasn't been the option to go to Diaz, or there hasn't been the option to start Diaz. That's my honest opinion on it. If you disagree, no problem. But like I said, nobody comes into our chat and shows disrespect to any of us. It's not going to happen. If you went through the chat of the watch-along, people saying Gakpo should have been brought off. I know. Absolutely. And I'm not trying to say Cody Gakpo's been amazing. But there's always some arsehole that when you say, I could say, let's talk about Canada, and somebody cry and go, but what about Van Dijk? Or I could say, let's talk about Frimpong, and somebody go, but what about Kirkes? You know, nobody's trying to say Cody Gakpo has been good enough this season. I'm just giving you my opinion that I think the problem he's had is that there isn't another type of left winger there that Arne has utilised this season. That's it. Jesus, man, you can't talk to people like that. Well, I just did, Mark. So, yeah, I can talk to people with the same level of respect they talk to me. It's not fucking hard, Mark. Simple. You learn that eventually about this channel. You get what you give back. You come in to try and be a smart arse and bye-bye. Come in to try and be interactive with us. Have a chat. We'll have that chat. It's not hard. It's respect. I've earned it. And again, see you, Mark. And also, Mark, my little pedigree chum, you don't see 90% of the shit that we get or are sent. So I'll figure out how I talk to people and let me worry about that. You feel free to start your own channel and have a crack at it. But like I said, respect is lost in this world, and in our community, it will be shown. Simple as that. What you've never seen me do is go in on anybody who hasn't started with being a smart arse. Hasn't happened, won't ever happen, doesn't happen. But I'm not going to sit here and have myself or my community belittled by some arsehole who just wants to belittle me. I love the way you keep forgetting these aspects. Like, I'm supposed to just take abuse. You have an agenda against Cody Gakpo or Mohamed Salah. No. I treat people how they treat me. Simple as that. You show respect, you get it back. You act like a dickhead, adios. It's not rocket science. So you're the only one allowed to disrespect people. Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's great, isn't it? I disrespect people who disrespect me. You're missing the key part of that, my friend. I don't just wake up, come in here and start abusing people. But if somebody spoke to your mother in front of you the way somebody spoke to me, would you sit back and take it? Or your sister or your friend? You wouldn't. So yes, I am going to absolutely rinse anybody that comes in to be disrespectful. And I'm not going to apologise for it. And I'm not going to change. Don't like it? Tough shit. Plenty of other channels for you to watch. But again, my community, my rules, and respect is a fucking minimum. What about Jesus teaching us to turn the other cheek? Well, I don't believe in God, so on that one, we're going to have to agree to disagree. Yeah, because I don't believe in God. But I respect anyone that does. Sincerely, I do. I respect your beliefs, and sometimes it's tough to turn the other cheek, you know? Sometimes it's tough. But sometimes, yes, you're right. Sometimes I probably should ignore some of the stuff. I'll give you that one, that's fair. Diaz played more of our games as the 9. Cody played on the left more times. I think he's massively downgraded this season. Both wings are below average, rather Somerville and Bowen. It's a tough one. I would like to see more of Cody. Sorry. I would like to see more of Rio, but in a weird, fucked up, weird way, I understand trying to protect a younger player, but I think he's overprotected Rio this season, if I'm being really honest about it. Yeah, that's where I'm at. I'd like to see more of Rio and Gamoa. I don't. On the other side, it's difficult because I don't think Chiesa is a realistic option to upgrade. But I did like what I seen from Jeremy Frimpong at the end of that game, and certainly think with Joe Gomez back and available and fit, there's an argument to be had about maybe Frimpong starting on the right-hand side moving forward for a little bit. Actually, can we put that to a poll? So, let me just get this really quickly. Right, so, should Frimpong start wide right? Because definitely, before anybody says it, yes, I want the opposite side as well. I want Rio mixing it up and getting game time in place of or to compete with Cody Gakpo. I do, just before anybody says it. But I'm interested to see what people think about the Frimpong idea on the right, because when he came in, I know he came on a full back, but he was a marauding full back in this game, and you can see the impact he had in the final third. Now, if I'm being really honest with you, the thing that's always held me back from wanting Frimpong on the right side more often is I wondered, would he have, not the assist part of it, but would he be able to add goals into it? That's the concern I've had, because we've been somewhat spoiled with wingers at the club who, you know, score a fair amount of goals as well. So if Frimpong plays on the right, I'd never have a doubt about the number of assists that he could rack up. But does he have the eye for goal? Would he be able to get himself a couple as well? That's where I'm still on the fence somewhat. Half of the issue is people not getting how people in Dublin respond to Cheek. Keep it at Craig. Keep it at it, Craig. We finally get some luck today with our goals. Look, be blunt about it, Simon. There are just people in this world that need a fucking slap and get away with too much shit, and maybe got away with too much growing up. But like you've said, Simon, we don't put up with shit in Ireland. We don't put up with it. it is simple as that. And I'm never, ever, ever going to apologise for being myself and standing up for human decency. Never. You know, I would have got the shit slapped out of me if I spoke to people the way some people in this chat think they can come in and speak to other people, me or others in the chat. It's not going to wash with me, mate. I'm old school, and I wouldn't take it with someone standing in front of me. I'm certainly not taking it with some arsehole on the keyboard. So you're right. Maybe it is the dub in me, I don't know, but I'm never going to apologise for it because it's simple. You start it, I'll finish it. Jaden said they all forget they're here to watch the Craig Circus. Look, they can just piss off. It's simple. There's ways to have an opinion, but they come in. Do you know how many times I've been called a racist just because I've criticised Salah? Like, it's embarrassing. I have the Salah fanboys in the comments calling me a racist, an Islamophobe, just because I criticised the performance from a player. Never once mentioned the religion, never once mentioned the nationality. Why would I? But nobody is above reproach. Nobody. If you don't play well, fans have a right to say we don't think this person played well. And it's unhealthy for people to just gloss over these things and say, yes, everything's right when it's not. That's what this is all about. We all have our own favourites. There are players that I don't like hearing criticised, but sometimes it has to happen. Yeah. Look, do you think, honestly, any Liverpool fan takes any pleasure whatsoever out of being critical about Salah? I don't. The man has set the standards at the football club for years and been a hero. But you get held to a higher standard when you're the standard bearer. When you're a Virgil, when you're an Alisson, when you're a Mo, you get paid the big money because you're the standard bearer. And when those standards fall short, it has a knock-on effect. So, you know, we're going to talk about it honestly, and this channel will never shy away from those honest conversations. Which three players signings from relegated teams? I guess it depends who goes down. Wolves, you'd look at Mane, obviously. Burnley, probably nobody, for me that I can think of anyway. And then if you're moving towards the West Ham Forests, yeah, then you've got some choices. You've got Ed Anderson, Murillo, Bowen perhaps, Somerville perhaps. I think Fernandes in the heart of that West Ham midfield is worth watching. Yeah, that's all I can think of off the top of my head. But I'd certainly say there's far more to cherry pick from a West Ham or a Forest than there would be maybe from a Wolves. 19 goals in the 3 Premier League games with 18 different goal scorers. Wow. Yeah, Connor just sent that on to me. 19 goals in the 3 early kickoffs or 3 p.m. games in the Prem with 18 different goal scorers. That is actually nuts. Fernandes looked decent. He does. Somebody mentioned to me, I want to say about 3 months ago, to keep an eye on Fernandes from West Ham. And as I've watched him, he's been one of the brighter lights in that West Ham team. Now, I won't sit here and tell you I watch him every week, but the times that I have paid an eye on Fernandes, I think he's worth us keeping an eye on. So, should Frimpong start on the right is a poll we have running at the minute. We've got about 6 or 7 minutes left on the stream, so if you haven't voted, please do. And also, don't forget, tonight, Late Night Agenda, we're picking the winner of this Jurgen Klopp frame shirt. If you haven't entered yet, you can scan the QR code there on the screen right now. This is the February prize. We'll be launching our March giveaway very soon as well, with thanks to our friends at thecollectorscorner.co.uk. And you can get yourself 20% off as well with a code Anfield Agenda 1. Z said, personally, I think playing Frimpong on the right wing regularly will completely ruin him. He's very fast and will do a lot, but he's very injury prone. He's only been injury prone for us though this season. Keane very kindly sent me on the injury details from Frimpong's career. And between 1920 and when he joined Liverpool in 2025, he'd only missed 11 games. You know, in those, 5-6 years. So this season, for whatever reason, since he's come into the Prem, he's missed, how many games? Let's have a look. 6, 18, 23 games. So, 4 hamstring injuries this season has been a bit of a nightmare. But I would also say, if he's playing at right back, he's probably going to be getting up and down the pitch more than if he was just playing on the right wing. So probably more of a workload from on right back duty than maybe in right wing duty. Who was man of the match? It was Hugo Ekitike and Alexis McAllister, second place in the vote. Muldor said, Salah is my absolute favourite player, but I'm a realist. He's been shy. People need a fucking wake-up call and attention. It's not hate to call something out. That's obvious. Love you, Craig. Thank you. It's frustrating when people think there's more to it. I have no problem if people disagree and say, I think Salah played well. But they come in with you have an agenda against. I don't. But let's be honest, he's not been himself this season. And he's not on his own. One thing I do want to say, though, is I know we conceded 2 sloppy goals today, but I do think defensively we've looked better. I know we conceded from a set piece today, but I think that's the first one in a while we've conceded from a set piece. And there's no denying that one thing Arna and the coaching staff need plenty of credit for is the way that they've changed our attacking set pieces. Like, we're a goal scorer machine now from set pieces. 3 alone today that I can think of. Maybe if there was a 4th, sorry if I've forgotten it. But yeah, that's an incredible turnaround. So credit where it's due on that one. Craig, don't you also think that the Premier League's more physically demanding than the other league? Oh yes, 100%, mate, 100%. So, when Arna talks about intensity and these players picking up injuries, he's not wrong. Like, it is a far more physically demanding league to come into the Prem than the Bundesliga. So I do understand that one. So centre goals, I've put up a post now. They must also be a Mohamed Salah hater because they dare point out a fact. But Mohamed Salah fails to score in 10 straight Premier League games for the first time in his career, which is an unfortunate number for Mo. But even at that, if we just take out the goal scoring side of it, which in itself is something he definitely has wiggle room for a bit of credit on, just not being the same impactful player. I can forgive him for going 10 games without a goal because he's got more than enough credit in the bank on that one. But it isn't just about the goals; it's about the slowing up the attacks. It's about wrong decision making. One thing I will say about him is his set piece delivery from corners has been very good. But it's just not the same this season. Whether it is because of Trent, whether it's because of the team changing in and around the attack, whether it's because of Diogo, whether it's because of all of it, I take no pleasure in saying it, but he just ain't the same. Connor said, also worth noting that Neoni got minutes and Curtis Jones didn't. Yeah, interesting point, Connor, and one we'll certainly talk about on the podcast in a little bit. I didn't, do you know what? I didn't even think about that. I genuinely didn't even think about that. Is Salah not doing Ramadan? He is, but that only started in the last couple of weeks, if I'm not mistaken. Again, I'm not fully sure of when Ramadan started, but I think it roughly lines up with Lent for Christians, so I think it was about 2 weeks ago, maybe. And look, of course, any player playing while observing Ramadan is very difficult physically to be able to go out there and put in that exerted effort over the course of 90 minutes when you've got no fuel in your body. I totally understand that. I think Ekitike and Kanade, if I'm not mistaken, both also of the Muslim faith. So, yeah, look, it is that time of the season where, of course, we will have this conversation. But again, I think it's fair to say there was probably 8 games before that he still hadn't scored in. Connor said, I'm sure Mo himself would never use Ramadan as an excuse. No, look, it's a valid scientific fact that, you don't have fuel in your body. It's going to be more difficult to play. But, it is what it is. It's just part and parcel of modern athletes and in football. And, we didn't play a game tonight where sun went down. I think it's somewhere between 5:30 and 6 o'clock. So if we were in the evening game, there would have been a break in play for players to take on some fuel. Around 10 days Ramadan started. Thank you. Appreciate that, my friend. It is, yeah. Does it always roughly line up with Lent? I never really paid attention to it, but I know Lent started, 10 days ago as well. So Lent for us Catholics would be where you're supposed to like give up on something that you enjoy throughout Lent for the period of Lent, 40 days, 40 nights, and then have had it again. Right, so the poll question was, should Frimpong start wide right? We've got about 5 minutes to go, so keep your comments coming in. A bit of history took place at Anfield today. For the first time, a British Sign Language rendition of You'll Never Walk Alone was performed. And I've got to say, I think this was a wonderful thing from the club to do. I should really take time to learn it myself, but it was nice to see, and it was a very unique moment to see You'll Never Walk Alone being signed, and to see King Kenny up in the stand as well. I know Kenny was front and centre of the promotion of that this week, which is brilliant. I think we can all continue to learn things as we get older, and yeah, it was a very unique experience. But again, one I think that was a worthwhile addition to the You'll Never Walk Alone setup today. City, please beat Leeds. Arsenal, please beat Chelsea. United, please lose to Palace. I don't actually think. I don't think United are going to draw a point against Palace. Not with Palace having the Conference League game as well on Thursday. I think United probably be a bit fresher and get that job done. Could you possibly do a poll on Somerville or Gordon? Remind me, Nate, tonight for the late night agenda. I promise you I'll do it for you, mate. Just remind me tonight, because I'm just finishing up this stream now. But I have a busy evening ahead of me, so I'm going to go do the player ratings video now in a minute. Then the podcast. Then I'll be back tonight for a late night agenda where we'll get stuck into all of this in far more detail. But let's wind down this. So we need about 100 more votes in the poll. So if you haven't voted, please do vote quickly. We're asking, should Jeremy Frimpong start wide right for a few games? By Camp Cook said Connor needs to do his own channel. Does he? Yeah, sure. Yeah, let's pit the two lads from Anfield Agenda against each other in channels. That'll go well. Connor said, did Mo do Pancake Tuesday? Is the bigger question. I don't know. I didn't get any pancakes, Crosby, on Pancake Tuesday. So yeah, I'm owed pancakes. Shrove Tuesday is the beginning of Lent. It's about using up the ingredients before Lent started. Lent used to be just bread and water for 40 days nights. There you go. You learned something new. I don't mind if Frimmy not a huge goal scorer. Yeah, that's the one pausing that I would have about Frimpong in that position. Just would he be able to chip in with enough goals? Because assists wise, no doubt about it. He definitely has the numbers in there. Right, we've 45 more votes to go till we get to the 1,000 votes. I can create an AA internet drama video for you, Craig. It's all right. There wouldn't be any drama. It'd just be me whooping Connor's ass for views. That's all that would be. Connor wouldn't go up against me in YouTube. Silly move. He knows better than that. He knows I'll fight dirty. Now, look, we have a perfect balance in what we do on the channel. I couldn't imagine doing this journey with anybody else, to be honest with you. Yeah, I couldn't. And if Connor left, I'd quit. It'd be that simple. I've always said that to him. We went into this together. We leave this together. Simple as that for me. If Connor turned around tomorrow and said, look, I've had enough, the channel would be gone because I wouldn't do it without him. Right. Connor said, don't know if I could dedicate an entire channel to potholes. I think you give it a good go, Connor. I'd tune in for a bit of pothole content anyway. Has he done the tour of the filled in potholes for you yet? Because, they have been filled in, so he's got little to moan about now. Right, we need 7 more votes, and then we'll knock this one on the head. Don't forget, we have a podcast coming out tonight. Myself, Connor, and Chris going to be recording that in about half an hour. And that'll be out on Spotify this evening with some clips coming out for you tomorrow. Tonight we'll have a late night agenda back as well. Right, so 86% of people think yes, Frimpong should start more games wide right. Kilo said, yeah, got a quote, Craig. I emailed you guys. I'm not sure what the quote's about, but cool. Well, I'll get Connor to have a look for it. Look, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go record the player ratings video, but don't forget to enter our giveaway because we are announcing the winner in a couple of hours. So really is last chance saloon to get in to win a framed and signed Jurgen Klopp shirt completely free. Just scan the QR code there on the screen. And we'll have another giveaway in March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, and of course December as well, with thanks to our friends at thecollectorscorner.co.uk. Ladies and gentlemen, I will see you back here tonight at about 8:30 for the late night agenda. Thank you to everyone that joined us. Thank you to Connor in the background as well. Thank you to Keane for sending me on all the quotes. But most importantly, thank you to you guys for your support as always. Do hit that subscribe button for me before you head off, and I'll see you